Hello interwebs, welcome to Adamant IT. Welcome to my home desk here. This is where I hang out and edit videos and play games and such. And today in this video, I'm going to be replacing this desk with a shiny new one from FlexiSpot. So when I take videos and photos from flattering angles, this desk looks pretty decent already. It's a 2-meter long piece of kitchen countertop. But what you often don't see, because I hide it in the camera angles, is the fact that it's actually supported on some 15mm MDF sheets. And it's not even screwed down to those, so you know, if it accidentally gets a shove, the whole thing moves pretty dramatically. So yeah, not actually a very good desk. And there's a second problem with it as well, and that is right now I've got a health condition called sciatica, which means I've got chronic pain in my right leg that makes sitting down for long periods of time quite painful, and I have to constantly adjust, move around and lean back to stretch it out and so on and so forth, and yeah, it sucks basically. And at work, my FlexiSpot standing desk that supports my main workbench has been an absolute godsend this spring, because while normally I would sit down and work at it, now I can just stand and work. And that makes everything so much better for just ergonomics. So FlexiSpot actually sent me the one that I have at work a couple of years ago, and I never got around to doing the mainline video for it. But I can tell you now that the past 2 years of owning it, it has been an absolute trooper. It goes up and down multiple times a day. It's never missed a beat. I've never had any issues with it. So when FlexiSpot reached out to me again and said, do you want to look at one of our big boy desks? I was like, yeah, please, because then I can replace this horrid clunky thing. So next to me off screen, I've got the boxes for the E7 Lite standing desk. It's a 4-leg standing desk, so it's really big and stable, and it's a dual motor one. So it can lift a large amount of weight, which is also important because the Fractal Torrent, this is a heavy boy, this computer. And while these electric standing desks, they can lift more than you think, but also they've got limits. So I was a bit worried about having a standing desk for this setup, but this guy should have no problem with it whatsoever. So let's roll the intro and we'll tear all of this down and we'll get to building a shiny new replacement for it. This video is sponsored by FlexiSpot. FlexiSpot are a leading provider of standing desks, office chairs, furniture, and much more. Their electric standing desks and tables not only help with ergonomics, but transform any normal table into a multi-purpose bench. You can find treadmills, recliners, and storage at competitive prices worldwide. Their latest dual-motor E7 series desks come in a variety of lengths and sizes for small setups, corner setups, and heavy-duty desks capable of lifting up to 300 kilograms. You can fit your own surface for a custom setup, or choose from a range of colours, sizes and finishes directly from FlexiSpot. All of this and more available with free shipping and a 60-day no-risk return policy. Upgrade your desk today with sturdy and powerful height adjustment. For more information, check out my links in the description below. Right, here comes the big commitment part. I really shouldn't be doing this at this time of night. I should have waited for the weekend. Let's go! So this is the E7 Lite desk, and it comes in 2 boxes this size. I also have the optional top counter to go with it in the 180mm by 800 deep, I think, option. So I've got quite a big setup here. So the E7 QB comes in 2 of these boxes. So firstly, each one of these boxes is 25 kilograms. So be careful, keep that in mind when you're ordering, that these things are basturially heavy when packed. And the whole desk when unpacked and built is going to be 50 kilograms for the frame plus another 20 for the desk. So remember, this is going to be a heavy boy, which isn't a problem for me because I'm on a ground floor flat with a concrete floor, so I don't care. But if that's a concern to you, keep that in mind. Obviously, these are also just difficult to move around. I probably shouldn't be lifting and moving all of this stuff with my busted leg, but I got no one to help me, so here we are. Do as I say, not as I do. So I'm just going to full send now. I've no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to unbox it all and see if the instructions are any good. So here we go. Holy moly. No wonder it's so heavy. These things weigh a ton. Cool. So these instructions seem pretty comprehensive. We've got a parts included on the front page with an exploded view of the desk, so I can see where the parts go, which just immediately is helpful because I can see what I'm going to need and when. And yeah, it looks like we've got some pretty straightforward Lego instructions here. So I'll spare you the details and we'll just go straight into the build montage. Just a quick note that the next step for setting this up is to install the connecting rods while the desk is upside down like this. However, I'm conscious of the fact that at some point I'm going to have to flip it over and there's going to be 40 kilograms here, which I'm not sure that I can lift and flip on my own in my current condition. So I'm going to install them while it's already the right way up. This is not what the instructions say to do. I'm going to use my judgment here. I've no idea if I'm on shot or not. Because I've got a pre-cut and pre-drilled top piece to go on this, it's got holes that should line up with all of these existing ones. I'm not sure where they'll be, so I'm actually going to put the top on, offer it up, and then I can move these closer or further apart to line all the holes up. If I was smart, I'd have a tape measure and I would measure it. However, I don't have a tape measure, so I'm going to wing it. Okay, we've got a slight problem. The pre-drilled holes don't line up on all 4 corners. I've got 2 back corners, but the front corners, no, in short, the holes just don't align. So that's unfortunate. My guess is that these tops are designed for all models and maybe they just haven't pre-drilled it for this particular one or something like that. I've got an electric drill, so it's not a problem for me, but just watch out. Okay, so I've got the basic setup done. I ran out of time last night, so I just threw my PC up there just so I could socialize a bit before going to bed. So now we're here for evening number 2, and I've got to start doing all of the wiring. So we've got to sort out all of that noise and pin that all up under the desk. Then I've got to put all of my stuff on the desk, and then we can start all of the big cable tidying job. I've pinned the table's electrics up underneath it now using these supplied fasteners. I have screwed in two 6-way power strips to the bottom as well. I kind of agonized on where to put these, and in the end I just settled on putting them in the middle. This leaves space at the back of the desks to actually tidy the wires, because if I put the strips all the way at the back, then the actual power cables are kind of going to have nowhere to go. So now I can plug everything that's on the desk into these strips, and I'll just have two power cables coming down. And here's the completed desk, folks. I'm really thrilled with how this has come out. It's nice and tidy. I've got all of my cables underneath tidied. My router's still hanging out on the ground there, and the cable's slightly too short, so I need to adjust that, but that's a tweak for another time. But yeah, the desk is wonderful to use. It's so stable. Like, obviously I can shake it, you can shake any table, but it doesn't move like my old desk did. And I've got no fear for any of the equipment on here at all. And then obviously there's the actual standing feature of it. So let's show it off. As soon as I'm sitting down and I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable and want to stretch my legs, well, I can just get up. And on the controls over here, I've already dialed in a preset for a standing and sitting position. So if I press the stand button, up it goes. And we actually get a numerical height here, so you can dial in exactly how high you want the desk to be and save that as a preset. And there's my standing position. And now I can carry on using the computer from standing, no problem whatsoever. And of course I've got just simple up and down, so I can just tweak that a little bit as I see fit. So if I want it just a little bit lower, I can put it to any arbitrary position, or I can hit the seating position, and down it goes again. And with that 200 kilogram lift capacity, I don't even need to worry about whether it's straining with what's on the desk. My heavy computer, the monitors, all the rest of it, no problem at all. It doesn't even sound like it's struggling with the dual motors. That control box interface is really easy to use as well. You simply set the desk to a height, say, I don't know, 100 centimeters tall, and then you press the M button, and then you press one of the preset buttons, and bam, it's just saved that into that preset. Really easy to set up. My cable tidy setup consists of two 6-way surge protected power strips that I've got screwed to the bottom of the desk. These have got 2-meter cables on, and they're plugged into the wall on either side of the desk. So it's balancing the power load on either side of the desk. And because they've got 2-meter cables, I know that the desk can raise or lower to any height and those cables won't snag. Then everything that sits on the desk is then plugged into those 6-ways. So there's just 2 power cables and my network cable coming off of the desk. But for most of the cables coming off the back of the PC, I've got 3 or 4 zip ties that are not tightened. So there's just a loop of zip tie glued to the bottom of the table. And then what I can do is just thread the cables through these loops, so they're just loosely bundled in underneath. This is very effective at keeping the cables tucked up out of sight and out of the way, but because they're not zipped in tight, you can pull cables out at any time and put them back in at any time. So invariably, the day after you've cable tidied your desk and you realize you want to add or remove a cable, you can do that without having to cut everything out. I'm also a big fan of just the open back under the desk as well. My old desk also had mostly an open back, but a lot of desks, they tend to close off the back so you don't see cables and stuff. But with all of this open space, I can actually just, get the vacuum cleaner under there. And this is something that bothers me a lot because every time I do any kind of changes to my desk setup, there's always that initial horror when you pull it all out and there's just all of the dust bunnies and grot down there. So actually having all of this accessible so I can get back there and clean is really nice. That USB charging port on the bottom of the control box as well, not only is it perfectly positioned for me to just charge my gaming headset on it, but also that's a quick charge 3 port. I kind of just assumed that it would be like 5-volt 1 amp output or something like that. But with quick charge 3, this guy will quite happily charge up your phone or any other slightly higher powered devices. So that's my new endgame desk setup, folks. A big thank you to FlexiSpot for providing me with the new hardware, as well as my thanks to my Patreons, my Twitch subs, and YouTube channel members. If you're interested in learning more about FlexiSpot's desks, chairs, and more, check the links in the description down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.